room then, Arsenal in the title mixture for you?
I mean, listen, they're top of the table, so you've got to put them in the mix, but that's not what the aim should be. I think definitely top four. Don't want to get carried away. It's hard not to. But no, listen, they're playing really well. We know that they've come up against Manchester United, didn't get the result, but they bounced back because Arsenal of old. They get beat by Manchester United, then it spirals out of control. They lose the next one, and all of a sudden now they're out of it. But they managed to bounce back with a result. A tricky place to go, Brentford as well. Got the result, and I think Mikel Arteta will be quietly confident about where Arsenal can go this season, for sure.
It's two different conversations, isn't it? Arsenal top four and Arsenal being in the title picture. But when is the title picture? You know, are you contenders if you're second and 5 points behind in February? You know, when do we draw the line?
I think, I don't know what you think, Lynn, but I think you're contenders if you are thereabouts around about February, March.
Okay.
I think around about now is way too early.
Is anyone going to be near Manchester City the way that they're going at the moment?
You know what, listen, my opinion is that it doesn't have to be pretty, but if you look at Spurs, that they are going really well, undefeated so far this season. They've got some real firepower up front. I don't think they've actually yet found a formula that is going to go on a consistent run. But if you can win or not lose while you are still trying to find that formula, that's a really good thing. There's real depth in their squad there. I think Arsenal do have that depth, but I do worry for Arsenal. If they were to lose Jesus, they'd have a real problem. But they do look good. I think they're top four contenders.
Yeah, I think top four. I don't think they'll contend for the title yet. In 2 years' time, possibly. Yeah. I think with the youngsters that they've got. But I see an improving horse, if you like. Not being funny, it's a Grand National, isn't it?
Yeah.
This Premier League's a Grand National. If your horse is leading after 6 fences, 7 fences, you're not thinking you're going to win the race, are you? There's a lot of things going to still happen, and I think that's where Arsenal are at the moment. They're happy to be there. I looked at their fixtures at the beginning of the season and thought, you know what, they're going to be top of the league there or thereabouts because of the fixtures. The big test was United. They played really well, deserved to win that game. But the test for me, like Benty just said, for me, it was Brentford away. Brentford in good form, beating United there. You're thinking, this is a test. And you know what? They did it in third gear, in my opinion. They were excellent.
You said this is a test. I mean, Benty, if they don't finish in the top four, what does that mean for this Arsenal team? Because at the beginning of the season, forget some Liverpool slump. If we were to ask everyone in August, everyone would have said Manchester City, Liverpool, shoe-ins into the top four. And then obviously Tottenham improved, didn't they, off the back of last season with Conte. You've got the Ten Hag factor. Who knows how that's going to pan out? And then Arsenal as well. So Chelsea haven't even mentioned. So how do we? You know, two big teams have to miss out. But if Arsenal don't get top four with all the spending, what does that mean?
I guess Mikel Arteta would have to fear for his job. I think so, and it's quite brutal and harsh to say, but when you look at what they did last season, probably should have got into the top four when they had the games in hand. They had a bit of a point gap. I think it was 5 points to go. Didn't get in there. He's been backed again in the transfer market. And with Arsenal making the start they've done, if they don't get into the top four now and they go and finish fifth again and don't win the Europa, there's no progression there. With the money that he spent, there's still no progression. So I think Arsenal will finish inside the top four, but I think serious questions will be asked of Mikel Arteta because he's been given everything he's wanted for the last 2 years.
I do think there is progression. If you look at the teams that they've beaten, some people actually damn them with faint praise by saying, well, what have they beaten? And I think they missed the context of what they've beaten. They've beaten a lot of the sides that took points off them last season. Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford was the opening defeat of last season. Loads of people started to fear for them, and it was a downward spiral from there. But you're seeing the difference in character, organisation, defensive stability. You're seeing the younger players who can come on and express themselves, like Fabio Vieira, Marquinhos, Bukayo Saka now isn't the guy everybody looks to make things happen. Martinelli can make things happen. Odegaard can make things happen. Jesus is just in the number 9 position, a revelation, because he now has responsibility, and you can speak far better than me to the fact that when players are able to take responsibility, it takes a huge amount of pressure off the team.
No, he's lifted that team, there's no doubt about it. For me, Darren, it's more, they looked fragile defensively. That first game last year against Brentford, we all saw it. Last season, there was times when those teams that you've just mentioned took points off them. They've tightened up as a unit. Their midfield has become tighter, and then they've got some great players going forward. The real good youngsters. There's some we've not even mentioned. The really good thing about the weekend for Arsenal was Odegaard and Zinchenko comes out because of injury. You're thinking that's a big loss for them. No problem.
Yeah.
The new lad comes in, scores a goal, he gets off.
Well, that's it, because you're right. We've always been talking about with Smith Rowe, Martinelli and Saka and obviously Odegaard, but then this season you throw William Saliba, and he's been at the club quite a while, but he's gone back to France and he looks like a real player, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's Company-esque in the back for them. And Fabio Vieira, it's been a long time since the Arsenal fans sung about Vieira.
Yeah, it's true, but it was a lovely goal he scored.
Yeah.
And it was a good opportunity for him to come in. You know, if Odegaard had kept playing and playing well, perhaps he doesn't go anywhere near the form that he can probably see. Now he's been given a chance. He's scored a really good goal. That'll give him confidence to see the best of him. So he's not going to feel as under pressure if he's coming in 3 weeks' time. So there's a lot of positives there, but I think it's basis. There's a strength, a solidness about Arsenal. When you saw them play last year, you think you can always score against them. Yeah. Now, not so easy. Not so easy.
The song still works, doesn't it? Comes from Portugal, plays for Arsenal. I've adapted it. I heard it at Brentford at the weekend.
I saw him play in his first game for Arsenal against Zurich in Switzerland a couple of weeks ago. It's a really mature performance. Involved in everything good that they did, involved in their goals as well. He's a very front foot player, great distribution. Fantastic eye for a pass. You can see why they bought him. You know, because to play for Arsenal is one thing. To wear the shirt with the responsibility that comes with playing for a big club is something very different. And as a young player, straight away showed himself able to do that. Yeah. I think he's going to be a wonderful player for us.
You know what the thing is as well, Daz, is that when you look at Arsenal of old, it's like if the 11 players are fit, they're a good side.
Yes.
But now all of a sudden, as you're saying there, if Thomas Partey gets injured, we've seen Granit Xhaka step up, and now he's been a revelation. He's almost been like a new signing, because there were times where he was a little bit of a liability. Certainly big games would make rash decisions, get himself sent off, give a penalty away. But it's almost like, because of the trust that Mikel Arteta has shown in him, it's almost like he doesn't want to let him down.
Yes.
So he almost looks like a player reborn, like he's now playing further forward, assisting with a great cross for Gabrieljesus' goal, having a real impact on games.
I think also, cast your mind back, Aubameyang.
Yeah.
What Arteta did with Aubameyang, everyone was like, whoa, hang on a minute, what's going to happen? And they've been a better side since there. Aubameyang's still a good player, in my opinion. He's now at Chelsea. He's come back to the Premier League, and he'll probably do well at Chelsea. But it was a big call, wasn't it, from him? But he knew what he wanted out the door. This is what I'm going to work with now. And they've gone from strength to strength.
How old were you boys? Debut?
How old?
17 you were.
Oh, 17. Yeah, a long time ago. 17, yeah.
So Ethan Nwaneri.
Oh, yeah.
15 years, 181 days. Incredible, isn't it? Becomes the youngest player in the Premier League. But with a bit of caution, Glenn, I mean, how does a manager approach that situation?
Just a tad of caution, in the sense that I believe that it's not like he's been brought in for training for about the last month and played with the first team. That's what normally happens. It was almost like I think Arteta said it was a gut feeling. I think the academy guys would have said, look, this kid's got talent. I just hope for the lad, and I really sincerely mean this, look, 15 years, 181 days, I just hope that we're still talking about him in positive ways.
Matthew Briggs and Izzy Brown, we're not, are we really? But, you know, Harvey Elliott, incredible, he's got an incredible future.
I just hope we're still talking about him in a positive way in a couple of years' time.
And that's a good point, because the Izzy Brown and Matthew Briggs we saw there, you know, good landmarks that they were able to post, but neither are in the public consciousness anymore. And it's very easy to make that start. And, you know, congratulations to him and his family and everyone at Hale End, the training ground at Arsenal, for bringing him through. But it's a big step to continue, as you guys know.
I just wonder what lesson he's doing today as we speak.
That's a big thing as well, because you're right, he's only 15 years old. You hope the club are looking after him in the right way, because he's obviously life's going to change now. And you just said there about what lessons he got. All of a sudden now he's thrown into the spotlight, going to school. Does he get on the same public transport? Does he still walk to school? All these kind of things.
There's a pressure that he didn't bring on himself suddenly on him.
Exactly. So that's one with Glenn. You worry a little bit about him on the pitch, but even off the pitch now, because a lot more eyes are going to be pointed at him. He's going to be walking down the street, people saying, oh, that's who plays for Arsenal. He's got a lot more to deal with.
So, you know, on top of that, you know, when you are 15, you're still a boy, and you're still surrounded by the things that boys would find interesting, attractive. You know, there are still all of those things that... and
also the jealousy that a 15-year-old will have from his, you know, people around him. Even at Arsenal, even the lads that are a little bit older. he's got a multitude of things to deal with. We've been in that situation, and just pray to God that he comes through it all.
Yeah. So look, after the international break, it's perfectly set up, guys, isn't it? North London derby at the Emirates. Someone's maybe has to go, doesn't it? If it's not a draw, and both unbeaten. Of course, Arsenal top of the league. Is this, Glenn? You mentioned the sort of first hurdle if we're doing the Grand National imagery again, and they did fall, didn't they, at Old Trafford against Manchester United, but this is a big test, and it would be a huge statement if Arsenal were to get something against.
Oh, without a doubt. I think Tottenham are an awkward team to play against at the moment, a tough team to play against, with the tactics and the X factor that they've got up top of the pitch. So if Arsenal come through and win that derby, then I think they would, the confidence they'll gain from that. And then I think people perhaps would sit back and go, hang on a minute, they're the real deal here. They're going to be hanging about at the end of the season as well. So they've started exceedingly well. This will be a tough game for both teams for different reasons. Spurs, they're up there, but they haven't really played at their very best yet. I think there's still more to come. Look at Son, he's only just started his season in many ways. So there's going to be a lot more from Tottenham to come. I can't wait for it.